Trump has done something no person in the world has ever done before.
Yes, this is a continuation of what is happening in Davos. Davos panel, Trump has won and we have lost. This is the greatest comeback in political history. Therefore, he thinks he can do anything. Yes, these people are in disbelief that Trump won. When you look at all the panels I've seen, for 2 days now, Trump name is coming up. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm going to play the video before we go into the full analysis.
Trump has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician, has risen. Somebody who, if we were 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, dead politically, known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
We need to also factor in not only who's won, which is Trump, but who's lost, which is to say us. And I guess I would throw into that the epitome of the us who is losing here is Europe. That the European Union and by and large its member states have misread the direction where events were going. The causes that it is interested in, climate, human rights, some others, as well as the methods of diplomacy that it prefers, are simply being gradually kind of marginalized as something new, not necessarily something better, but something new moves into the center.
I propose putting...
You can see the panic in here. During his speech at the World Economic Forum, Spain leftist Prime Minister Pedro expressed his proposal to eliminate anonymity for all social media users. This is crazy. I don't know if someone used a comment to spark on this man on social media or what exactly. I don't understand. They want to do something in such a way that you cannot hide yourself on social media. That is what this guy is advocating. Crazy. At a certain point, when I saw this segment, it is 2 minutes long. I'm going to play so you can see their plans. Though some countries tried with X, like Elon Musk should be able to review every account. Elon Musk rejected because it violated a lot of rules.
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media. In our countries, no one can walk the streets with a mask on their face or drive a car without a license plate. No one can send packages without showing an ID or buy a hunting weapon without giving their name. And yet, we are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. This paving the way for misinformation, hate speech, and cyber harassment, because it is facilitating the use of bots and it is allowing people to act without being held accountable for their actions. Such an anomaly cannot continue. In a democracy, citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity, because with those two, social coexistence would be impossible. That is why I believe we must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet. This way, citizens could use nicknames if they want, but in the case of a crime, public authorities would be able to connect those nicknames to real people and hold them responsible. Because accountability is not an obstacle to freedom of speech. It is an essential complement to it. On social media user, or it's much better to say, one social media user, one real ID. This is the only way to really ensure that minors do not access inappropriate content that people who commit crimes are banned or prosecuted from social networks, and that the millions of fake profiles that exist and influence the public conversation are removed. My second proposal is to force open the black box of social media algorithms once and for all.
The prior government was maybe more popular internationally. In financial services, they were not very useful. Right? So we need to also say, sorry, some of these things are different in terms of how they seem on the piece of paper.
Yeah, very much.
There have been a lot more extortion under the Biden administration than under Trump for international investment. So let's have the facts being facts.
Extortion?
Yeah, in terms of fines from the DOJ and others, right? So there is no difference. Yeah, so let's be
okay.
The facts in.
Right. Yeah.
But we look at the facts. We don't look at the narrative.
And yeah, you're 4 days in or 3 days in, I guess. So
yeah.
We'll have to see.
No, it's a lot of very scary things, but
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So what we have to do, fact-based decisions, and I can only tell you that some of the things are different from what they see.
Right. I mean, when you may have some deregulation on the one hand, you may have protectionism on the other hand. So that's going to be very interesting to sort.
Yes. So for financial services, it's different maybe than for other good and trade.
Care for the next generation fails.
Yes, Davos 2025, the person who posted this, Dr. Eve, is clearly upset that Trump won and people are waking up to the sinister plans of the web, and he is clearly upset that nations want to be sovereign. He says it self-serving and that it undermines collective progress. It is important we look into Davos 2025. I'm going to show you a lot of videos, so please stay through to the end.
Care for the next generation fails. We risk depending into self-serving and short-sighted behaviors that undermine collective progress and lead to profound societal and political shifts. To counter the erosion of hope and confidence in our future, we must go beyond reacting just to crisis. We must focus proactively, shaping the future in strategic, innovative, and constructive ways, despite the intense, short-term pressures and problems which we all feel. It is not cynicism or negativism which brings us forward, but practical steps to address the real-world challenges, what we want to do here during.
While America's adversaries, China's in the worst economic position since the 90s, maybe the 70s. Russia's in severe decline. Iran's just lost its empire by proxy. So it's a very unusual time to have an individual that is in no way concerned about or constrained by rule of law. He's made that very clear. And now what is he actually going to do? Is he going to be a dictator? No, I'm not in any way in that camp. But I do think one of the best ways to understand what Trump will do is to understand who pays him. Right? I mean, he flipped on TikTok. He was one of the first people that was opposed to TikTok, but he shifted because Jeff Yass and other investors paid him. And that's a good way to get Trump to do what he wants you to do. And we are seeing that. We saw it on the stage last night at the inauguration, and we'll see it at Davos, of course, but we'll also see it with all of the different leaders that are or aren't responding to the demands that he's making. The best way to get it done is not align your foreign policy with America strategically. It's not support U.S.-led multilateral institutions that he's not committed to. It's pay Trump. And by the way, there's now new crypto that allows you to do that. And by the way, I was critical when Hunter Biden launched his crypto coin too, which he didn't do, right, for a reason, because it's unprecedented. This is not, if India was doing this, we would say they were kleptocracy. If Modi was on the phone with a head of state and Elon Musk showed up, we'd say this is a banana republic. But because it's the United States and it's Trump with Elon, it's actually the new way of doing things. I accept that that many of us will be complicit. I accept that many of us will find a way to get on with that, but that doesn't mean it's normal. right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And because, final point for me, because Trump is not going to be here for long, I mean, in part because he's 78, but in part because he only gets 4 years, right? Then everyone that has done this is going to have to deal with the fact that next will be something else. And you're going to have to figure out.
Yes, the World Economic Forum started a year ago. What I observed with these people, Trump, they are calling his name nearly on all segments. Especially Trump taking a decision to withdraw from World Health Organization and this Paris Agreement. These people seem not to be happy with this. I decided to take this clip and summarize what is going on in Davos so you can see exactly what they are doing. Yes, Elon Musk responded to this man, shame on him. At the World Economic Forum, Olaf, the German Chancellor, just said that Elon Musk should know Germany, Europe, freedom of speech doesn't accept extreme right position. You can't be talking about freedom of speech at the same time you don't want freedom of speech. That is what I've observed with what he said on this video. When you are talking about freedom of speech, be able to talk about freedom of speech. It should not be limited. So some people don't have the right to express themselves.
This is the United States of America. And I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis. Kind of like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most foundational defining things.
Thank you guys for always being there sharing out my videos. For people who complain that I put videos after the end of the clip, please, you can stop here. Oh, you're doing this, this is just for the algorithm. When you watch my videos, I always make sure to inform you where to end. If you want to continue, you can do, but please end here. God bless you and see you on my next clip.
The Washington Post owns it.
What? Okay. JFK, do not look down at those.
Tried to steal it from.
A short time ago, President Joe Biden greeted Mr. and Mrs. Trump.
Don't worry, also attending were all those people who warned Americans to shun this wannabe fascist dictator called Trump. Look at me, Ma! Oh, let's go see Hitler and get a quick selfie first. Hello, look at us!
His own bootstraps.
Yeah. And so in thinking about that, and Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy, you're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit.
And sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are a funky in policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on the plane, started getting texts.
So I am evacuating my home.
What we need to do against what we know is right. And these are the results.
Trump is now calling that Governor Newsom should step down.
This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds.
The situation is beyond control.
For the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking straight.
Remember it.
As a country about
yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad.
I want to
be, Jim Jordan.
In the 5 tenants of
Palisades Village right here. This is the town center of sorts.
And he did this little dance.
Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some.
And then we watch the news or talk to my friends.
Buying up properties and the likes.
These people lost their.
We went to the Starlight Ball.